All right, hello everyone. So this is a continuation of the introductory part for the let review on General Science Part 1, 2. We have here the following coverage as well, which is the nature of science, inquiry process, scientific method, and science and technology. But we will be covering scientific method and science and technology for this part. So to continue the item 26, we have here the following question. A student writes, if I increase the amount of sunlight, then the plant will grow taller. So this is a what? It's your answer on this one. You may pause and then answer. Of course, if the question is in if then format, then that is a hypothesis. So we have here the correct answer is hypothesis. Let me use a green for that. Okay. And then number 27, which of the following best defines a scientific theory? What's your answer here? Scientific theory. So that would be letter B, which is a substantiated explanation of an aspect of the natural world. Okay. Next, in an experiment on plant growth, the height of the plant, is it A, B, C, or D? And that would be dependent variable, letter C. Because the dependent variable is the outcome that is measured in an experiment. It depends on what the dependent variable does. So for example, if you change the amount of fertilizer, which is the fertilizer is the independent. You measure the resulting plant, which is the height, which should be the dependent. So when we say dependent variable, it depends or it responds to the treatment administered by the researcher. And the next one, which best describes quantitative data? Quantitative data. So it's your answer A, B, C, or D. So the answer for this one is letter A, data expressed in number and units. The others here are all qualitative data. Next one, a conclusion in a scientific report should, is it A, B, C, or D? All right, that's your answer for that. So the answer is letter B, scientific report. State whether the hypothesis was supported or not. Technology can best be described as, what's your answer? All right, so the answer would be scientific. And that is letter B, the application of scientific knowledge to solve practical problems. Which of the following illustrates the relationship between science and technology? Your answer is letter C. Scientific discoveries often lead to new technologies. This one. Okay. And then the development of vaccines is an example of how science and technology, what's your answer? A, B, C, or D? The answer here is letter B. Work together to improve human health. Okay. Next one. Which ethical concern is most associated with advances in genetic technology? Is it A, B, C, or D? So the answer is letter B, privacy and genetic discrimination. The use of solar panels to generate electricity illustrates A, B, C, or D. All right, answer is letter B, technology driven by understanding of physics. And then science, technology, and society, or the STS education that is in college, aims to help students understand that is it A, B, C, or D. All right, it's your answer. It is letter B. Technology, science, and society are deeply interconnected. Which is an example of technology influencing science? All right. The answer is letter V, the invention of the microscope enabling cell biology. All right. 38. Nanotechnology involves the manipulation of matter at a scale of nanotechnology. All right. So what's your answer for that? The answer is, of course, it's letter C. 10 raised to negative 9 meters is nanometers. Next, which best describes the concept of appropriate technology? Right. Is it A, B, C, or D for number 39? It is letter B. Technology suited to the needs, resources, and conditions of the community. The digital divide refers to, is it A, B, C, or D? The answer is B. Digital divide. It is the gap in access to and use of information and communication technology. Next, which statement correctly describes a scientific paradigm? So what's your answer for number 41? It's letter A. A set of practices that defines a scientific discipline. 42. When a student, we are here now on inquiry processes, I think from item 41. Item 42. When a student uses results from one experiment to predict outcomes of a related situation, this is a called uses results from one experiment, A, B, C, or D. It is, of course, it's here, it's predicting. Next, which is the correct order of steps in the scientific method? A, B, C, or D? Correct order. This one appears in LET exam, so you have to familiar yourself with those steps. What's your answer? It is letter B, problem, hypothesis, experiment, data, and conclusion. Information communication technology has most impacted science by A, B, C, or D? Letter B, enabling rapid data sharing and global collaboration among researchers. The answer is letter B. All right, next. The phrase science as a way of knowing implies that science is, all right, provides, letter B, provides a systematic, evidence-based approach to understanding the natural world. Which process skill requires the scientist to play objects along a continuum based on a property? To place objects along a continuum. So the answer for that is letter B, which is ordering or sequencing. So it means that this is the process scale of arranging objects or events along a continuum based on specific observable property, like for example, from smallest to largest, from lightest to heaviest, or from earliest to latest. So that is a distinct way of classifying items or objects. So about scientific method, item 47, an experiment is considered valid if it is valid. So is it A, B, C, or D? The answer is B, measures what is intended to measure. And then item 48, which represents an unintended negative consequence of technology. Unintended. So that would be letter B, electronic waste pollution. 49. Why is it important for science to be objective? A, B, C, or D? All right, answers letter B, to ensure conclusions are based on evidence rather than personal bias. When you say objective, it is based on empirical observation, empirical data. Next, which of the following is the best example of a null hypothesis? The answer is letter B. There is no significant difference in crop yield between fertilized and unfertilized plants. So when we say null hypothesis, so you won't be confused it with the alternative hypothesis. Null corresponds to no significant difference or no, what they call this? No distinct difference. Yeah. Okay. So when we say null hypothesis, it always states the independent variable has no effect. Okay. So null means no effect as well. The acronym N. Okay. So it means that any observed differences are due to chance, and researchers test the null hypothesis statistically and either reject it, which means they conclude there is a real effect, or fail to reject it, which means the evidence is insufficient. So if they able to reject it, then that is alternative hypothesis. But if they fail to reject it, it means there is no the evidence is insufficient. So the null hypothesis is the default position of skepticism that science starts from before evidence is gathered. Okay? That's it for introductory part. So this is the introductory part for general science, which covers the following: nature of science, inquiry process, scientific method, science, and technology. Thank you.